Trump overstepped and lost. Here's how a federal judge just crushed his National Guard power grab. It was one of those nights. Sirens on every screen, news choppers overhead, protesters clashing in the streets, and right in the middle of all that chaos, an announcement cut through the noise like a blade. A federal judge had just ordered Donald Trump to return control of the California National Guard to Governor Gavin Newsom. In that moment, the battle lines of authority, constitutionality, and political overreach became crystal clear. This video will break down what happened, why it matters, and how close we came to a constitutional cliff, and what it tells us about the true balance of power in America. This isn't just about political rivalry. This is about constitutional authority, state sovereignty, and a presidency that nearly tore those principles apart. If you've ever wondered whether one man can wield the U.S. military like a personal tool, this case just delivered a hard answer: no. So, in this video, you'll learn why the judge ruled against Trump, what Newsom's constitutional argument was, and what this all means for the National Guard, the military, and the use of force within the United States. The wider implications here honestly reach beyond just California. They affect other states and the very idea of federalism itself. Let's dig in. In a move that critics actually called authoritarian, Donald Trump attempted to federalize the California National Guard under the pretense of national security. The Trump administration claimed it was necessary to deploy the Guard for domestic order in areas experiencing protest unrest, particularly in Los Angeles. But instead of working with state leadership, Trump basically commandeered the Guard, pulling them off wildfire prep, counter-drug operations, and fentanyl enforcement, all without California's consent. According to Governor Newsom, this was nothing less than an unconstitutional seizure of state power, and, the law is on his side. Before we dive deeper, if you're into this kind of breakdown, give the video a like, subscribe for more, and let me know your opinion in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Now, on with the video. The federal judge's 36-page decision cited Title 32 of the United States Code, specifically Section 12,406, which allows the president to federalize the National Guard only under two extreme conditions: invasion or rebellion or insurrection that interferes with federal law. Governor Newsom and the court argued that neither of those conditions was met. There's no invasion, there's no rebellion, it's absurd. And the court agreed. In its ruling, the judge stated clearly, the president lacks constitutional authority to override state command of the National Guard, absent a legitimate legal justification. No such justification was presented. This ruling reinforced the core idea behind the 10th Amendment: states are not vassals of the federal government. They retain control of their militias unless very specific and rare criteria are met. By noon the day after the ruling, the California National Guard was ordered to return to state command. Let that sink in. These are the same personnel who had been pulled from life-saving wildfire prevention, drug enforcement, and border security duties. They were instead reassigned, without state approval, to prepare for ICE-style raids and street-level military policing. Under Newsom's authority, they'll now return to wildfire prevention teams, which are known as rattlesnake teams, as well as fentanyl and narcotics task forces, and border and infrastructure protection. According to Newsom, these Guard units were vital in mitigating past disasters, especially California's historic wildfires. Removing them was not just authoritarian, it was reckless. But the ruling didn't just stop Trump's overreach, it also pulled the curtain back on something more embarrassing: the use of the military for political theater. Newsom slammed Trump's planned demonstration of military might, scheduled for his birthday, as a, vulgar display straight out of the Kim Jong-un or Vladimir Putin playbook. Weakness masquerading as strength. How weak do you have to be to commandeer the military on your birthday just to feel powerful? This wasn't hyperbole. This was a direct accusation that Trump was using the military not for defense but for vanity, and he had almost gotten away with it. Let's imagine just for a moment if the federal court had sided with Trump. Here's what that would have looked like. National Guard units deployed without state oversight, armed military on city streets during protests, without police cooperation, federal forces operating ICE-style raids, even in sanctuary cities, overriding local laws, other red states following suit while blue states face crackdowns with no legal recourse. The collapse of federalism as we know it. In short, it's kind of like a soft version of martial law. As if this wasn't enough, Newsom also pointed to the shocking treatment of United States Senator Alex Padilla, who was handcuffed and thrown to the ground inside his own office building after trying to attend a press conference. Tell me that's right. A U.S. senator mild-mannered asking a question and they throw him on the ground? The governor also called out Republican governors like Kristi Noem, who once railed against Biden for even thinking about federalizing troops, but said nothing as Trump actually did it. The hypocrisy is stunning, the silence is loud. You know, this isn't just California's fight. Every state in the union has a stake in this ruling. If the courts had sided with Trump, it would have set a precedent where any president, Republican or Democrat, could override state control of troops for vaguely defined emergencies. This ruling reaffirmed, well, a few crucial things: the limits of executive power, the constitutional right of states to self-govern, and the importance of courts as referees when presidents refuse to play by the rules. Governor Newsom called it, quote, a big day for the Constitution. He's right. Because this was more than just a court case, it was a red line, one that said, this far, Mr. President, and no further. For anyone watching with fear, anger, or confusion about the state of American democracy, this case was proof that the system still works. But only if we keep fighting for it. And next time someone asks, why does it matter who controls the National Guard? Remind them of this night. It matters because the Constitution still matters. And when that's at risk, the people and the courts must rise. Thanks for watching.